so I don't have to play these games. I'm wiping off my camera with my Ray-Ban thingy here. It's gonna be nice and crisp. I hope people check out my video I just um, published earlier today. I filmed it uh, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, but I had to edit it and all that sort of stuff. What's up, Tracy? How are you? School was. Uh, I didn't do that, Tracy. My AI moderator has done that. I try to limit the adult language. I'm the only one who uses adult language, but I assume that you are young, so I definitely don't want anyone young using adult language on here. What's going on, Carlton? Did you did you happen to see the video yet? I actually haven't watched it myself. I was supposed to watch it before I did this, but I started watching Secret Galaxy instead on Power Rangers in Space. It was talking about like the supposedly the season to save the series from being canceled, but I didn't care about I didn't care about Power Rangers after the first two seasons. After the third season, I watched it up until the third season. After the third season, I stopped watching it. So I watched it from '93 to '96. So yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Traces on those Streamlabs. That sucks. It doesn't suck. I mean, I've put it in there that it to restrict foul language because it 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 corrals the amount of like abusive language that can happen. So it can overcorrect, but I'd rather it overcorrect than undercorrect. Power Rangers was fire back in the day. Yeah. Did you see the? Did you go see the movie in 2015? Was it 2015, 2016 when they did the reboot of the movie? It sucked. My friend liked it because he grew up in that era where he was like he was a millennial, so he grew up with Power Rangers the way we grew up with Voltron and Robotech. But I was still like a young teenager when the original Power Rangers came out, which was basically Super Sentai for folks who don't know. I think most Power Ranger nerds know this, but Power Rangers was actually just Super Sentai taken from Japan, and then they filmed the local scenes with American actors, and they actually did that a lot in the '80s with anime. Voltron was was taken from Japan and recut and edited. Robotech was actually three different Japanese animation cartoons spliced into one show. So that's crazy. Is it outside the first movie in the '90s? Yeah, I saw it too, but I didn't see any of them in theaters. I watched them all on cable. Um, I I wasn't spending money to go see that, especially with the original movie didn't have the original cast. Like they have fired most of the original cast because they wanted better, they wanted more money, and they weren't in the union, so they got screwed. Um, so it was still good because because the whole when they turned into ninja Power Rangers, I thought that was cool as shit. I've always been a ninja geek. I mean, anyone can look around my the stuff that I have, my collectibles and Asian kitsch type stuff. And know I'm a ninja geek. I'm mad when I was in Japan. I did not. Yeah, even when I was in Japan, it was like this was the first thing I bought when I was in Japan. was this keychain? That was the first thing I bought. Um, but I'm mad I didn't go. I'm mad I didn't know that there was a ninja museum. See, I knew there was a ninja museum out in like the Iga prefecture, there's a ninja museum based on like the Iga Mountain myth of these mountain ninjas from the Iga and Koga mountains. So there's like a it's like a museum, but they're also performing artists there. So they hire actual martial artists and acrobats to perform and do live demonstrations there for the fans that come, for people who come there. But there's also like a local museum in Tokyo, and I'm mad I didn't go there. But I wasn't in Tokyo as long as I wanted, so I didn't have time to do a lot of stuff that I normally do. Like I didn't go because I definitely would have hit the Ninja Museum in Tokyo, but I didn't even know about it. I just knew about the National Japanese Museum. So that was another thing I wanted to do, but I didn't have time. But I would have done the Ninja Museum over the National Museum, and then I didn't get time to take a seminar in like traditional and like either traditional karate or modern karate. So that's something I plan on doing when I go back, amongst many other things like the Mario Karts. I'm gonna do the Mario Karts in Tokyo too. But that's an aside. Uh, Doctor Not So Happy 6649 says 2015 was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, holy moly! I know. What's worse than that, Doctor Not So Happy, is that it was actually 11 years ago. So yeah, Tracy, yeah, it's pretty annoying. She's referring to Streamlabs, but sometimes it just gets on my daggone nerves. Uh, excuse me. Um, excuse me, guys. Tracy, is there a chance that the Giants might go to the Super Bowl? You're asking the wrong person. I'm not, as I've said in many live streams, I am not a sports buff, particularly football. The only sports you will find me having working knowledge of is boxing, MMA, and Muay Thai. If it's not boxing, MMA, or Muay Thai, I really don't know. or kickboxing and Muay Thai, MMA, boxing, basically combat sports. Outside of that, you don't get me the lion. He said the Green Ranger was dope. Yeah, I'm about to buy the old vintage figure. Not the first one, the one with the flip up heads. You know when all of them had like the flip up head, so it had their real face. Then you could flip it and it puts it back in the helmet. So I'm gonna get the flip up head figure for Tommy. I mean Jason. You know what I mean. Can we talk about NFL, please? Um, I don't know anything about the NFL. I mean, not I don't know anything about the NFL, but I'm not an NFL fan. Like it would just be mostly over my head. I mean, you can talk with other people in the chat room about NFL because I'm pretty sure they can. I'm sure they have many opinions on it, but I don't watch competitive sports. To me, like I said, as I've mentioned in a previous live stream, to me it's just basking in reflected glory of other people. I'm an athlete, so I love sports, but I don't like watching sports on TV. I find it completely boring. Plus, I don't get any motivation to see someone win that when it doesn't do anything for me. I'm not getting an award. I'm not getting a $50 million paycheck when they win. So I really don't care about who wins in any sport. The reason I care about combat sports like boxing and MMA and Muay Thai is because I practice those myself. So when I watch them, I look at them for inspiration for training in my own for my own personal journey of self mastery. And as a martial arts coach, I look at these sorts of things and see what these people do as tips for how I can better train myself or train others. But as far as sports dealing with throwing and passing balls, I don't care. I'm not getting paid. Like the guy said in a Bronx Tale. He says, he said, if your father loses his job driving a bus, you think he says Mickey Mantle gonna pay? Is Mickey Mantle gonna pay your father. Like no one cares. No one cares. Like that's how I am. Like I'm not wired to care about uh, what other people do especially when it comes to sports because it doesn't benefit me. At the time where it does benefit me, I will care. So, for instance, my alma mater. When my alma mater wins national championships, I care because it makes my degree more prestigious and it makes being an alumni more satisfying as my uh, university becomes more prestigious through winning championships and also through their academic merit. Like when I went to when I started at my university, it was a good university, but it wasn't considered elite by any means. Now it's part of the public. It's considered one of the public Ivies. So so I have school spirit. So I'll always root for the Terps in football, basketball, lacrosse, baseball, field hockey, soccer, gymnastics, track and field, softball, volleyball, you name it. Like I'm there with them. I don't watch the games, but I do catch up on, the scores on Twitter or Instagram. So anyway, Babyface Chemical 8156 says, you know what's so crazy about ninjas? Most people don't know that ninjas will shoot you. So I hear what you're saying. So I actually did. So I have a category. I have several categories of videos that I've done. One of them are martial arts myths, and I do several. I debunk several martial arts myths about ninjas in that category. Um, and yes, samurai and other Japanese warriors or Budo would have used firearms in battles. They actually, what you see in many of the movies and TV shows is not realistic to how many of those feudal battles went down. They preferred fighting from a distance than close quarters fighting with swords. Usually, by the time swords were drawn, you were already at a disadvantage. They preferred long range through archery. Japanese archery is called kyudo, and that would have been the preferred range of warfare, and then also with pole arms and spears um, at a slightly closer but still far distance. Once you got to close quarters range, where you had to rely on your sword or maybe even grappling, um, someone was already at a disadvantage and probably about to lose the battle. Um, and once firearms became perfected, yes, they used rifles and muskets. I believe, and once they were trained by European military, they even used like things like cannons and you know machine guns. So yeah, they use like any like any warrior, you would use what's most useful. Like they wouldn't say, "Oh, I'm not going to use this because this is not honorable." Please, yeah. But as far as ninjas themselves, I still am very skeptical that historical ninjas actually existed, because pretty much everything we consider ninja would have just been something that a samurai or the ashigaru, which are the Japanese foot soldiers, would have done. So anyway, that's just a pedantic point of reference. Tracy says, "Bless you, thank you." Dorsal to Divine says, "Are you okay, man? Let us know." You're projecting, but have fun with that. Anyway, Babyface Kim says, "Do you watch the Clarissa Shields fight or the Ryan Garcia fight?" I haven't seen them. I don't watch. I don't even watch female boxers, to be honest. I don't care about female boxers. I'm like Sean Strickland. Like who cares? Like seriously, who? I don't know. Like no one really cares about. Well, I mean, I don't care. This is the reason why what's this guy the guy who heads up UFC. I remember when like what was like 15 years ago, he didn't even want to have like female MMA because he thought no one would watch it. But I mean, people watch it because they're scantily clad. Like, let's be honest, like most guys are watching female MMA fighters or kickboxers because we want to see we like seeing their asses and tits. I'm going to be completely honest. That's the only reason to watch. I don't really care about their athleticism. Like, I just want to see that. I just want to see the ass jiggling and the camel toe. And especially the female Thai boxers that fight for the one championship. They are so pretty. Like all the women in the one FC one fighting championship are so much prettier than the ones in the UFC, or mostly big Shearer looking bitches. Sorry, excuse my French. Um, because most of the fighters in one FC are Asian and they're just prettier. So, Marty said, "Hey, Contrarian, what's your opinion on the Middle East?" You got to be a little bit more specific. The Middle East is a huge region of the world, and there's like 1,000 different things going on in the Middle East. You gotta can gotta give me a little scope of what you're referring to, if you don't mind. Uh, mm, Tracy says the NFL National Football League is one of the best games on earth in America. Should I say the NFL has 32 teams? The NFL has the Broncos, Giants, Jets, Titans, Bengals, and so much more. I know what the NFL is, and I know they have several teams of which I've rooted for in the past as a kid, usually when I was watching it with other people, but I found it completely boring, like I said, to watch solo. I'm not unaware of the NFL or football. Again, I'm not I'm not a millennial Gen Z. Us Gen X, we had gym every day at school. We had to play sports. That was part of our grade. It wasn't you could just sit out or gym was only once or twice a week. We had gym every day. Didn't matter. You would go from you go from algebra to to gym where you outside freezing 35 degrees and you in some shorts and a t-shirt playing football. Then the next right after that you're taking English. So I'm aware of I'm aware of football. I just don't care about it because I just find watching it boring. But so it's not like I don't know what football or NFL is. I just find it boring. Even when I did watch the Super Bowl back in the day, I only watched it for the commercials. But I don't have to do that anymore because all the commercials come on the internet. So I don't have to catch the Super Bowl to actually see the commercials, which is really the only good part that I look forward to seeing. She's on ESPN. I do. I get that. Wolf 48 Mils is my brother. Some troll says you look like Bill Cosby, bro. Yeah, well, you also look like a dick in your mother's mouth. And to that effect, she probably should have swallowed. It could have saved the world from having you. How about that? Too cool 765. Margie says muskets. Yeah, like I said, it evolved the firearms they use from muskets to cannons. Because as far as my history, if I remember correctly, gunpowder was invented in China, so it would have made sense that in East Asia would have been the first use of firearms, at least in a maybe maybe not in the advanced way that they used in Europe, but you know, uh, with trading between Europe and Asia, like those things quickly changed. Carlos says facts. No one's trying to fight close range with swords. Hell no, I'm not trying to get chopped up. Not only that, But another thing is another thing that they misrepresent in those little feudal Japanese movies is that Japanese steel wasn't very good. They used to call it pig steel because it was very it wasn't high. They didn't use high carbon steel. It was a very base form of steel, which is it was like it was like not much better than just good iron, basically. Like it was pig steel, so it was very brittle. So these swords usually would have easily shattered on impact. So it wasn't like how you see in these ninja movies where they be slicing through buildings and cutting up swords. Please, the, the typical sword in feudal Japan, was not Damascus high carbon steel like my katana I currently have from Tenryu. Shout out to Tenryu. I love their swords. Um, they are more affordable than there's another very famous sword maker. So Tenryu is like the up and coming sword maker company that's right on their backs. And I can't remember the name of the other famous sword making company, but Tenryu is almost as good, but they produce cheaper swords of generally the same quality as the other company. But yeah, so mine is Damascus steel, high carbon, and it's a full tang sword, which means the blade goes all the way into the handle, so it doesn't shatter if you know. And it's actually sharp, so it's a battle ready sword. I can't use it for home defense because the katana is too long. Pause. To use in the small corridors of your house and bedrooms. So I would, that's why I'm getting a something smaller to navigate my home if I'm not using a firearm. I would use a kukri. I know a lot of people want to have like a AR-15 style assault weapon or want a AR-15 style weapon for their home. Uh, I mean, I guess because it would be very effective, but that's assuming you live in a big space or you plan on shooting people. Well, no, because you have to wait. They have to come into your house for it to be legal. Like you can't shoot them from. I guess you can't shoot them while they're still outside, unless they're already engaged in shooting up the house. I guess you could vo- volley back shots legally. But aside from that, if you're using it for home invasion, I would prefer a handgun over an assault weapon. Um, uh, but that's personal preference, and again, it depends on the type of house you have and your plans for defense. Anyway, back. Let me get back on the subject. Don't worry, 77 says Mauricio Ninja Street. I'm not sure what that means, but he asked, "Are you a ninja?" Yes. Health Thrift CO says you look good at computers. Why? Because I'm simply wearing reading glasses. I'm simply wearing these so I don't have to strain my eyes looking at the chat room. Because like I would see other people doing mobile streams and they would be squint. Well, I'm specifically talking about Richie Mack at Zoom to Thailand. He would do mobile streams, and he's sitting there straining his eyes, squinting, looking at the screen. I'm like, dude, why don't you just wear glasses? Like, what's the point of sitting there like you know stressing your eye your eyes trying to look at the screen? Just wear reading glasses. Twin Trigger OPPs says, "Hey, we love what you're doing. I'm a small YouTuber too. Keep up your good work. We love you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it, brother." Carl says a lot of those MMA chicks look good. Yeah, I I like I like the fight. Uh, I like the body of female fighters. Like I said, that's the only reason I will watch. I don't like I don't watch because I care about who wins or who loses. I'm just trying to see. I just want to see hot chicks fighting each other. Like, but I don't really care. Like, because Ronda Rousey has come out of retirement again, and I think she's gonna fight Gina Carano, the chick that was on Star Wars that got fired, and then she hit a lawsuit against Lucasfilm for discriminating against her for expressing her political beliefs. But they, because she said something that they found uh, to be too fiery for them, but they have allowed that little faggot that plays in the Mandalorian to express his extreme leftist beliefs, and he didn't catch any flack for that. So she had a lawsuit and had Elon Musk back her by paying for her attorney's fees to press the lawsuit against Lucasfilm, and they settled out of court. She won. So look like they're both coming back into the MMA ring, and I want to see. I'll watch that because I would like to. I was I was I would smash both of them same damn time. It would probably be painful, and I'll probably die by snoo, but it'd probably be worth it. Tracy says BBB. I don't know what that is. Doodle Nation says hi. What's up? Someone says you look like a straight Don Lemon. Just because you suck dick at your job doesn't mean you need to project your gayness onto others. Organic Productions 9347. Ziggy B says what's good, man. What's chilling? What's good? You know, people always be coming here with that. Oh, you must be gay stuff. They're projecting. These are the people who are sucking dick in the closet and then calling everyone else gay. It's like, cut it out. Like, go live your so-called truth. Go suck dicks and go to the Blue Oyster. Get your back blown out by someone and leather chads. But keep that shit to yourself. I don't need you projecting your gayness onto other people. I hate when people like that shit doesn't work here. Like, go try them Jedi mind tricks on a weak-minded faggot. Bunch of fanooks. You got a sword? Yeah, I do. I have a katana right up here. I just don't feel like um, taking it out. Pause. um, plus, I'm holding the. Actually, I might put. I should put this down. I like doing this last time where I just put this down and did it like this. But yeah, I have a katana. I was going to get a rapier as well, which is because um, I like fencing, like um, European fencing. So I was either going to get a rapier or the English longsword. The longsword, I mean, not. I don't. I think I like the English longsword just because if you got an actual battle ready English longsword, it would look so intimidating if you came outside with that. But oh, you talking shit, and you come out there looking like you about to go Game of Thrones on someone. It would look intimidating because everyone's seen a katana. So I don't think, and most people when they see katanas, they thinking of those the little cheap katanas that cost like 25 bucks and you can mount it on your wall type shit, whereas mine is an actual battle ready katana. So I gotta make sure that I just had to remind myself last month I have to keep oiling it so it doesn't dull, because even though it's Damascus steel and high carbon, it can still dull. And I have a cleaning kit with it which I haven't used, but I do lightly oil it from time to time. That'll probably be the next time I take the sword out because I don't feel like it's small space in here, so I don't feel like taking it out and accidentally clean um, knocking it on something and messing up the edge. I do have a boken though, which is a wooden practice sword for just like solo practice. Um, and I was thinking of getting a shanai, which is like a bamboo sword, which is used for like sparring and kendo. But since I don't spar with anyone, and since I haven't taken kendo, I don't have any need for Shanai to practice sparring with anyone. So, Maverick says hello from Mexico. What's up, Maverick? Like titty this is all like I like I like. Causes trolls be nice. I will block you. Yes, guys. My moderators is on patrol. I also have my Streamlabs up, so working in unison. You guys need to behave. Look, if you need look, if you are autistic and can't control yourself here, you will not find any comfort in this place because I don't deal with neurodivergent people. I think people I think people who lack the ability to control what they say or think don't need to be on social media. Social media is not for everyone. I'm not like it's not anyone's fault that they're neurodivergent, whether they have severe ADHD, they're autistic, they're both, they have bipolar disorder or something else of the nature. They have uh, what's it called, Tourette. Um, like the guy who the guy who didn't mean to do so, but he yelled out "nigger" at the um, at the BAFTA awards last week when Michael B. Jordan and the other black actor came out to present an award. And they stayed professional. They didn't trip. And he was actually so embarrassed that he left the awards. But people understood that he can't control it. And not only that, he actually was there at the BAFTA to receive an award for a movie about his life as someone who suffers from that affliction, from that illness. But again, having said that, you will not find on my on my channel that I deal with people who cannot control themselves. You will get blocked, and you will get roasted as well. I don't mind if people try to roast me. If it's funny, I'm going to laugh along with you. But if you're not funny and you're just being, you're just being stupid because you're a stupid person, I'm going to fry your ass and then I'm going to ban you because I don't fucking like stupid or retarded people. Actual retarded people, yes, people who actually have like Down syndrome or something like that, they're cool. They are some of the nicest people on the face of the planet. Like they have a side effect of Down syndrome seems to be they have a childlike disposition. But I'm talking about just you low IQ people. I won't have any cut cards for you. Just slapping my ham says you seem chill. What do you think about lean? You talking about the drug? I have no thoughts on it. And this guy can go sound like a peanut puffer. Carlin says, "Did you see that member guy Tiki elbow the boxer Dean the Great? I bet he saw your elbow tutorial." Are you talking about the? So I was watching a Muay Thai clip earlier today on Instagram, and the guy came in with a tomahawk elbow. Like the tomahawk elbow is like so you're like this, and you can just come in and boom, mm. And he came in and hit the guy right here, instant KO. I was like, ooh, that's brutal. But it was flawless. It was so brutal. I was like, man, I know that guy has CTE after that. Like, there's no way that guy did not have CTE from that blow. It was so brutal, so clean cut. I don't know if that was the same one you're talking about because they look. I think they were both Thai. Well, the guy who received the hit was Thai. I don't remember the guy who delivered the tomahawk elbow, but it was brutal. Justice. Slapping my hands and spoken like a true addict. Don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if you're referring to the other guy in the chat room, or I don't, or you're referring to me, but I'm not sure what you mean. Ryan says, "How do you prefer your Damascus blade edges, the softer or harder steel?" I don't know the different versions of Damascus blades. I just know that mine has the nice wavy lines through it, and it makes the blade look very pretty, especially when it's oiled and it's shining against with the light reflecting off of it. Um, and it's reflective enough that you can see an image. You can see like a image, like how that's how some people will actually hold um, they will hold the blade, and they could actually look on the at the reflection on the blade to see someone behind them, and yeah, that's pretty cool. But I don't know the different variants of Damascus still. I just know that mine is, and it looks pretty. It looks pretty. Someone says, "Do you shampoo your eyebrows?" What? Yeah, some of you really need mental filters. Like, just because you can say something doesn't probably you should think about it before you say it. Seriously, like that doesn't even make sense. You act like I have the eyebrows of that guy from American Pie, the father, who's a classic actor. I like that guy ever since that movie Splash that came out in the '80s. But yes, some of you, yeah, y'all need to. I don't know, but trying to be nice. But some of you have no filter on what you say and think, and it shows. That probably shows up in your lack of success in your personal lives. But yeah, Ryan Knight says I have major ADHD. Twin, let me slide. I look, that's cool. My Again, my issue is just people not having a verbal filter. Jasmine Parcher says hi. What's up? Torrents. Thank you for correcting me. Wasn't. I was saying torrents, and I'm like, not torrent. It's Tourette. He said Dwight says Tourette syndrome. Come on, bro, dude. There are so many different mental and behavioral disorders that I know about. It's hard to recall all of them sometimes. I know about more. I've probably forgotten more mental and behavioral disorders than you've even heard of before. So suck my dick. You know what I'm saying? Carlos says John Davison was wilding at the Baptist. He was cursing all night. Yeah, like you said, he has tours. He can't help it. But like I said, literally, the movie he made was about someone who suffered um, from the same affliction. So it was kind of, and when he talked about it, like he did an interview, he was completely embarrassed that he had these outbursts, and that he felt and that he wanted people to know he wasn't racist, because those sort of ticks that come out of Tourette syndrome, can often be very inflammatory, but it's not done intentionally. Like, they literally cannot control it. Um, and again, that's different from someone who's just a troll online. Like I said, a lot of people who troll online tend to be people who veer towards the dark triad of personality traits, um, which is narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Not to mention that many of them are just a bunch of fucking autistic retards. And so I don't really take any of these people seriously, because you can't fight me in real life. I will fuck each and every one of you up. if you ever tried to come at me sideways in real life, all of you are a bunch of little bitches. You're either some little 13-year-old bitch who needs to not be on a live stream with adults, or you're some little faggot 50-year-old retard with like gravy stains on your fucking muscle, on your fucking wife beater with a big ass fucking gut talking shit. Now we'll fuck now we'll fuck you up. As always says, hi, I hope you're well. Thank you. I'm doing well. Colin says, do you think YouTube should make people take a cognitive test in order to comment? If you fail, you can't comment. Do you? I don't know. Do you remember I actually said that several years ago? I was like, I, I didn't say it on. I think I said it on the live stream, but I know I said it in one of my videos. And I was like, social media would be improved if you had to take like an IQ test before you could comment on something. Like you had to like do maybe not a full-fledged IQ test, but you had to do something to show that you actually had the acuity to make an intelligent reply in a comment in a comment thread. It would you would get less comments, but it would be way more productive. Um, so yeah, I've I've definitely thought about that. Um, it would improve things, but people would complain. They wouldn't allow that to happen. Just like back in the day, I think like 40, 50 years ago, they tried to use IQ tests for as a part of job obtaining a job, and it was struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court for being unconstitutional. And so what happened in place was that many of these companies then just hired um, psychologists, specifically industrial organizational psychologists, to make up job uh, to make up employment tests. So since they can no longer use IQ tests, they hired these what's called IO psychologists or industrial organizational psychologists to make these employment tests. So when you and usually the funny thing is they usually just for low wage jobs anyway, for like working at fucking Rite Aid or something, Rite Aid or Sears. You gotta take these little stupid employment tests, and the employment tests are basically just a workaround the IQ to show that you are actually smart enough to to do the work, but it doesn't actually. But instead of it specifically measuring general intelligence, it just measures your ability to follow directions, be consistent, and stuff like that. Basic things anyone at any job should be able to do. But because that was struck down as unconstitutional IQ test for job entry, I can I would be I'm pretty sure it would be bedlam if Meta and TikTok and Snap um, all collectively started using some sort of barrier before you could comment in threads that show that have you demonstrate some modicum of general intelligence. There, it would be bedlam. People would be, oh hell no, you trying to make me do arithmetic. I ain't done arithmetic in 30 years and I failed that back then. Stop. Stop. But yeah. Wolf Raza says, you and the internet tough guy, calm your tits, Sparky. I'm not an internet tough guy. I'm not a tough guy. I don't look. Fighting is dirty business. My point is the people who talk the most shit, who are trolls, Wolf V Raza, are the people who can't fight. Because people who can fight tend to be more respectful to other people. Trolls generally can't fight. And I was saying, not to be a tough guy, I'm just saying none of these trolls would be disrespectful to me in person because they know I will fuck them up. Plus, I'm Gen X. We Gen Xers, we didn't hide behind a digital screen and be mean to people. That's not how we bully people. If we wanted to bully people, we see you at 3 p.m. after school. That's how it went down. And if you said something sideways out of your mouth back in the 80s and 90s or 70s or 60s or any other time up until the pussy era of the 2000s, 2010s, you would get punched in the face. You can't just sit there and mouth off and talk crazy to someone back then in real life and not expect to get punched in the face. That's my point. I'm not trying to be a tough guy. I'm saying that these trolls are a bunch of pussies hiding behind the anonymity of a digital screen, being disrespectful to the host of a live stream because they know they don't have to pay any price for it. But I said in any given time, if they tried to do that in real life to me or to other people who are hosts of these live streams, they would probably get fucked up. I don't care how you take it. You probably take it up the ass anyway. Uh, J Rock 99 says that's the truth, contrarian. Thank you. Wolfie Rouse says, how about IQ test for content creators to spout nonsense? Well, I don't give a fuck what you think, bro. I actually have degrees and I have my IQ that's been measured by a developmental psychologist. And I'm doing pretty swell. And I'm getting paid to do this. You, on the other hand, are some little butt fuck faggot fanuke talking trash behind the anonymity of a digital screen, calling me a tough guy when you wouldn't do that shit in real life because you know I will fuck you up. Yeah. J Rock says these parasites on every live stream provoking people. They try to. The funny thing is, I'm not even upset at them. Like they think that I'm being upset because I roast them, and it's like, no, I'm just simply clapping back because I like crack I like cracking jokes. Like I'll crack jokes when people try to insult me because that's what we used to do back in middle in junior high school and high school. Like, oh, you got jokes. Oh, you got jokes. Oh, you got jokes. Okay, okay. You trying to say? Oh, you trying to say I'm gay? Okay, okay. That's not what your mother said when I was fucking up the ass last night. But like that's the sort of stuff we did. So they don't understand what kind of time us Gen Xers or Zennials or even uh, elder millennials are on. These are again are mostly a bunch of young people or a bunch of dysfunctional middle-aged people. So Drive by Toy says I'm a zennial, so am I. I actually did a whole live stream about that last week. J Rock says you have to be fucked up in the head to provoke people for no reason. Exactly. Like I said, how weird they think I'm the reactionary one when they don't realize how freaking weird it is to come up on a live stream and just start attacking a host for no given reason. And then they try to gaslight the host of a live stream and act as if they're the ones who are bugging out. Like, please. Like I said, it shows that many of them are suffering from either, like I said, neurodevelopmental disorders like autism, or they veer on a dark triad of personality traits. Carlos says the internet made people keyboard warriors. Exactly, right? I mean, it's not exactly new. People used to do that in like newspapers and magazines too. Like, your old, like, you might look at a Esquire magazine from like 40 years ago, and people might be talking tough to the to the editorial staff. Like that article you know, that article you said last week about the men, blah blah blah. I bet you wouldn't say that to me because I will fuck you up. Like, so yeah, people even before keyboard warriors with the internet, you used to have I don't know, I don't know if you call them keyboard warriors, even though I'm like pressing like it's a keyboard, but you used to have like your version of the keyboard warriors in magazine columns and newspaper columns where where people could respond to the authors and editors of the articles. I think it definitely became more toxic online than it was in print media. I think in social when it came to digital media, it it was way easier to allow the dumbest people to have a voice as opposed to print media, because in print media you had to kind of meet the criteria for them to publish your comments in the first place. Whereas on digital media, they instantly print your like it's like instant publishing of the comments. So and plus, Carlton, you probably know, like, I've challenged many a person who've trolled me on my on my videos and live streams for the past 3 years, and not one of them have accepted the challenge. A few people pretended they were going to do so, and then when I actually sent them my actual email address and said let's connect so we can set up a fight, ghost, straight ghosted. Every time I think they're gonna, it was only like two people who really seemed like they were actually going to go through with it, and then as soon as I send them the email so we can actually set up something so we could meet up and shoot the fade, they ghost me. It shows they're all pussies. Ramsey says no, you won't in the 19th. I can run 3 miles. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about, brother. I look, Carl, do you want to tell him my workout routine? Because he, I'm supposed to be impressed because some random Fanuc is saying I can run 3 miles. Congratulations, you fit what most men could do throughout most of humanity, since humans to as hunter gatherers had to do what was called persistence hunting, which meant they actually had to run their prey down to exhaustion. So pretty much every hunter was a distance runner. Congratulations, you fit what humans have been doing since the beginning. Bravo. I I sh- I run 3 miles in my sleep, bro. You need to ask about me. James Osborne says roast them like some beef. He said my dad is 60. Okay, so I don't care. Drive by toys and mama jokes are classic. You can never go wrong with mama jokes because people easily get offended. Like that was usually the best way to start a fight back in the day. If you snapping on someone and you go like, you know, usually like, sometimes when you're snapping on people, they be like, okay, let's keep moms out of it. But but for some folks, they will go to the mamas instantly, even if they say mamas are out of it, because they know that was an instant win and the person wasn't prepared for it. And some people were, most of these guys who came from single mother households were very sensitive about their moms, especially because they probably seen their mom with 10 different uncles over the house, and hearing the uncle wearing the mom's ass out. So they're very sensitive about people talking about their mom getting their backs blown out. Like, don't worry, I'm gonna be over 5 p.m. See your mom like I do every day. We're gonna we're gonna make sure we tuck your ass in with an action figure first. And don't say nothing when I uh when I eat your fruit snacks. I'm gonna tell you good morning sport when I see you in the morning while I'm eating all your pancakes and bacon. Stop. Ramsey said, "Yes, so your 60-year-old, so your little 60-year-old disability father's gonna fuck me up." Yeah, okay. Suck my dick, and so can he. And anytime y'all want to bring it, come to Baltimore, and you're gonna get a rude awakening, my friend. You can't fuck with me. You can't fight. Your father can't fight. You're both a bunch of faggots. You suck dick for a living. You guys are both trading off on dicks like this. And if you ever came to Baltimore, you get fucked up. I'm from Park Heights, bitch. Ramses. And besides that, Ramses, you sound oddly foreign. You ought to shut the fuck up before I call ICE and give them your ISP. Yes, I can look up your ISP, by the way. So you might want to shut the fuck up because you're probably foreign. And I can easily give ICE the tip line and say, you know, you maybe might want to check out this guy named Ramses Pacheco. Doesn't sound exactly American to me. Just saying, might want to shut the fuck up. Might want to shut the fuck up. Might want to shut the fuck up. Name any Corvette. I don't. I like Corvettes, but I don't know any models. I'm sorry. I drive by towards the typewriter days. Yeah, they like sit there, and you know that person had a problem. They sitting there actually typing out a lengthy response on a typewriter. Like, man, fuck your magazine, fuck Esquire as a label, a group, and as a staff. You say you was a player, but I fucked your wife. You fat motherfucker. Let me stop. Uh, GUXXIGO says, "Do you think wrestling is gay?" No, wrestling is one of the best martial arts there is, and I like now that it's being recognized as a martial art because back back when I was still a kid, no one we didn't see wrestling as martial arts, but it really is. Wrestling is the oldest martial art. It's practiced and has been practiced by almost every society that has had military arts. Um, and it's one of the most effective ways to deal with someone. Like before, you know, they taught things like combat sports. You had wrestling. Any high school wrestler would probably been able to beat most people up, and they still can. A collegiate level wrestler, forget about it. Um, there's nothing gay about it. Are there some gay people who practice it? Yeah. Same thing with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Like, there's a lot. There's gay people who practice Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. That doesn't make it gay by by definition. Nor is wrestling. And it's one of those most effective ways of dealing with someone as far as self defense. So, J Rock says, "Have a good day, fam. Like the stream. Appreciate it, brother. Hope you come back." Circle of Protection TWU says, "What is the challenge?" There's no challenge. What I was saying previously was that there were a lot of trolls that you know got out of pocket in the past, and so they said they would do certain things to me, and I said, all right, well, if you want to actually shoot the fade with me, go right ahead. And I was be like, hey, here's my email. Whenever you want to actually do this thing, we can do it, but be mindful that I am going to film it both for my protection and for entertainment purposes. That way people can see, that way I can publish the results of that fight here on this channel so people can see me beating up some little punk ass troll. And that's why all of them back out of it, because they don't, because even if they were actually willing to fight me, which almost none of them are, but even a few who would be actually willing to fight me in real life don't want it realize, once I'm confident enough to say, hey, I'm going to have this filmed, they realize, oh, this guy might actually know some shit. Because if I'm confident enough to film it and put it on here for people to see the results, that probably means I can back up what I say. Just saying. And that's why most people back out because, like I said, they talk all the shit about they're gonna fuck me up. Then I'm like, all right, well, if you want to come fuck me up, here's my email. Let's set something up. And mind you, I am going to film this and upload it to my YouTube channel. And they back out. So, boom. So you saying it seems childish, but they're the ones that started. I don't come out of my mouth saying I'm gonna fuck y'all up. It was usually trolls in the past 3 years I've been creating content who came on my live streams or in the comment sections of my videos saying a bunch of little out of pocket stuff about what they would do to me because they didn't like my opinions on certain things. And I'm like, all right, well, tough guy. Well, if you feel that way, let's set something up. I'm not the ones who picked the fights, bruh. They did, and I called them out on it, and then they backed the fuck out because they were cowards and they were just talking shit because they're just a bunch of trolls who hide behind a digital screen being keyboard warriors. When you actually have them try to back up what they say, they can't because they're full of shit. Most of you Gen Zers have such low testosterone, and you're a bunch of pussies. He said you can't run while sleeping. System detects a lie. Yeah, you're too stupid to understand metaphorical language. You're not a very bright person. Possibility says you drink, bro. No, I'm an athlete. I don't drink. I don't smoke. He said, how do you stop for real? You just stop. You use you use will power, and if you can't use willpower, substitute something for the alcohol. Substitute food. Substitute coffee. Maybe see a behavioral therapist. Go to Alcoholics Anonymous. Something. It's on you. Possibly it's a single mother household is fucked, right? Is I love my mom though. Yeah, I mean, look, I a lot of guys had single mothers. My point was that was, for a lot of folks, that was like a sore point when you were cracking jokes on them, like they would easily, get offended when talking about moms and all that good stuff. Dudes say you cap, you from the suburbs. If you don't shut your little Gen Z faggot ass up, shut up. Dude, I am from Park Heights and I don't have to prove it to anyone. You probably don't even know what Park Heights is, although you're probably going to sit there and Google it. I lived there and I lived in West Philly. It's people who are actually from the hood don't brag about it because it's nothing to brag about. I was glad when I left. It was James Warfield says I'm from Dundalk, Maryland. What's up, James? Project Cars, excuse me, Project Cars says I made a Corvette edit. Are you talking about like a conceptual car? So I know like when I used to look at different car designs and models, um when I was doing lead gen and from when I was doing my lead generation stuff for a company where we would work on behalf of these dealerships and bring people in, try to bring people into these dealerships to upgrade their vehicles, buy new vehicles or whatever. And they wanted us to kind of keep abreast of the different vehicles. So I would often go to their websites and look at the different model cars that they were offering, that we would often read from a script to tell these people come in and check out these new cars. So I wanted to actually see what these what these vehicles look like. So I will often peruse the websites, and sometimes I would see like cars that weren't even invented yet in on their websites, like they were conceptual cars. And I don't know if that's what you're referring to when you said you made a Corvette edit. Carlin says if a train wrestler grabs someone, it's over. Basically, like unless you want to hit them with the stab. The problem is, even with the stab, like it can take it can take a minute before someone realizes how badly stabbed up they are. Meanwhile, they've already L'd you out. So yeah, once someone trained in like look, and there's so many different versions of wrestling just in America alone. A not let alone the whole world, but just in America alone, you got you got um, folk style wrestling, which is what they mostly taught us in like middle school and high school, and you have um, freestyle wrestling. I don't really know the difference between folk and freestyle wrestling. Is just basically a rule difference. And you have collegiate wrestling, which is mostly a type of, I don't know, it can be freestyle or Greco-Roman wrestling. And then you have catch wrestling, which is sort of like the rival to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And like, I would not want to, like, one of my friends is a wrestler. I already know, like, he's a big guy. Well, he used to be a big guy. He actually lost a lot of weight. I know that if I keep long range, I can pick him off. But as soon as he gets his hands on me, it would be a tough fight. Like, I know a little bit of judo and catch wrestling, but he would have the upper hand. Um, Especially back then when he was of a bigger size. Now that he's like my size or smaller, I it would be 50-50. But back then when he was a much bigger guy, forget about it. If he once he got a hold of me, I would have been done. Now it would be about 50-50. Um, GUXXIGO said, "What's your favorite move submission?" Um, I'm not really a submission fighter, so I don't really have like since I practice pretty much solo every day. I don't really get to practice any wrestling moves. Like the only thing I practice when I'm doing my shadow kickboxing is sprawling and leg sweeps because that's pretty much I can do that without actually having a person or a or a dummy to practice on. So that's what I know. Sprawling and leg sweeps. I'm confident with that. As far as submitting someone, like I would have to be in a position where I can roll with people to know what I can do. Um, I used to be good at you know arm bars and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm not a wrestler, unfortunately, because I don't have anyone to regularly practice with where I could roll, which is probably means I should probably take jujitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu or something where I could actually get more ground ground experience. Drive by towards the gents, all have peanut allergies and run their mouths online. Yeah, pretty much. It's very and matter of fact, it's very effeminate for a guy to be sitting there like just trying to troll people. That's in itself kind of effeminate because masculine men don't troll. Like that's a very effeminate sort of uh that's just a very effeminate sort of like behavior. And someone again saying Gus Fring again, don't look literally anything like Gus Fring other than you see glasses and a black person. It just shows you're a moron and you're gonna get banned. Drive by toy says these Russians with Sambo's taking over MMA these days. Yeah, because a lot of people because Sambo isn't that popular here in America, but honestly Sambo is more effective than Brazilian Jiu Jitsu because they actually do striking in Sambo, unlike Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu Jitsu's main weakness is that it relies completely on submissions and takedowns, and there's no striking in BJJ. Even though they practice defenses against strikers, they themselves don't strike, and I think that's a huge weakness in BJJ. Sambo doesn't have that limitations. They punch and they kick, and I think it is way more effective than BJJ. I think your average BJJ person is scared of a Sambo wrestler. Go ahead and but yeah, I'm about to go, guys. It's late for me. I get up around 4 o'clock in the morning to work out, so it's already past my bedtime, and I still wanted to grab something to eat. But I'll take I'll take some more comments if people are still here. I only see like 3 people in the chat room, but in case the three of you want to say something, go right ahead, and I'll extend it a few more minutes. I'm gonna go grab something to eat. Um, but yeah, like I said, as far as trolls are concerned, again, I'm not a tough guy. My my issue was in the past, people, would come into my comment section or to my live streams threatening me. And so I'll call them out and be like, all right, well, if you feel that way, we can shoot the fade and I'll shoot you my email and we can set up a time, a place, and for both safety and for entertainment, I'm gonna film it. I'm gonna have someone film it, and then I'm gonna upload the results on my channel, whether I win or lose. And most people back out because they realize, well, hey, if he's serious enough to like actually like film the fight, then he probably can back himself up. Um, but yeah, I'm like, I don't try to be a tough guy. I'm mad chill. It's just they bring it. Um, Drive by toys says he's a hell yeah. Watch a guy like Khabib completely dominate someone on the ground is scary to say the least. Yeah, like I said, not and I'm not discounting BJJ, but again, I think it's been gentrified quite a bit. It's been watered down because a lot of people who now practice it don't practice it for the purposes of competition. And anytime you take a combat sport and you you start teaching it to people who aren't interested in competing, it gets watered down. And it's like if you want to, and so you'll have the MMA gyms specifically set up for people who own only for people who compete. Those are the better gyms as compared to the MMA gyms that are sprouting up everywhere just for the casual, the casual enthusiast. Uh, so whereas I think Russian sambo has kept the edge because it's still it's it's not practiced as much here in the states and overseas. Like I said, it's mostly practiced by people who specifically are doing it for competition, even either competition between different sambo wrestlers or for sambo wrestlers to go into the MMA world. And like I said, they have the edge because they actually strike. Um, anyway, brothers, I'm out. I'm hungry, so I'm gonna end this here. And I'm catching a lot of it's mostly more trolls here than nothing. Than anything. So I'm not going to entertain idiots for too long because they're not. If they want me to entertain them, then they need to drop a cash app or a super chat. But I'm not going to talk to a bunch of retards. They can go jump on someone else's live stream and bother them while I go eat and be a productive person by going to bed, and so I can get up early and train while these little dick sucking fanooks probably sleep all morning, get their little fat ass up to go to their little worthless ass job and continue doing the same thing. But I'll be back again tomorrow, and I'm still supposed to bring on the wifey in a few days. Um, but we'll see how that goes. And I have a few other surprises coming up too. But if you guys want, check out the video I just uploaded earlier today. It should be interesting. Give me your thoughts on that in the comment section there. Appreciate it, guys. Peace out. Drive by. Carlton, always. I'm out, guys. Peace.